The sandwich is practically an American institution. It is a basic essential for lunchboxes, parties, and picnics.
Tesla's provided its customers with all sorts of services over the years. Of course, they have long been the most prized and celebrated electric car company on the planet. They have given their users snazzy new models, supercharger stations of the future, and are even working on a Cybertruck that looks straight out of sci-fi movies. So, what is Tesla planning to give its valued customers next? Could it possibly be a burger with fries? That idea isn't as far-fetched as you might think. In fact, we may well be soon taking our families out to the local Tesla restaurant in just a few years' time, if newly revealed plans from Elon Musk's juggernaut company are to be believed. Recently filed trademarks suggest that Elon Musk is in fact very serious about adding restaurant services to the list of wonderful gifts that Tesla has given us. Is this concept a yummy possibility or just another whimsical pipe dream from Musk? Let's take a look at the facts and discuss what the future of Tesla restaurants could be like. Yes, there is serious speculation that Tesla is toying with getting into the restaurant game. Supposedly, the electric car company could begin serving food at their various supercharger stations, in the form of pop-up restaurants and, possibly, old-fashioned drive-in fast food establishments. When you think of Tesla, you don't immediately think of servers delivering milkshakes while riding roller skates. So just where did this wild idea come from? It came from none other than Elon Musk himself. Back in 2018, the tech mogul tweeted that he was going to create an old-school drive-in, roller skates and rock restaurant at one of the new Tesla supercharger locations in LA. Those grand plans were made even grander when he later added that the station would also have an outdoor screen that will be playing clips from classic movies as well. Now, Musk has made a habit of airing his various thoughts without the intention of following through with them. So many people assume that he was just spitballing possible next steps for Tesla. However, he put even more effort and thought into this concept because in March 2018, Tesla indeed did apply for the required permits for a restaurant and charging station in Santa Monica, California. This was quickly becoming more than just a random Twitter musing. Yet here we sit in 2021, with no Tesla restaurants to speak of. So did Musk's plan just sit on the back burner so long that he forgot about it? Not at all. Just recently, Tesla filed for 3 separate trademarks involving its name. The filings were related to restaurant services, pop-up restaurant services, self-serving restaurant services, and takeout restaurant services, according to all of the paperwork. There is no doubt that this was Tesla filing the trademarks too. They came with the iconic Tesla logo pasted up top. Musk is definitely moving forward, in one way or another, with his restaurant idea. The plans became even more solidified and likely with yet another tweet from Musk. In April 2021, the Tesla founder said there was a major new supercharger station and it was coming to Santa Monica, just like the permit plans of 2018 suggested. And Musk said that this new station would have a 50s diner attached to it, which goes in line with the old-school drive-in atmosphere Musk is so fond of. He also again included the concept of movie clips from classic films being played on location. On the surface, the concept of a Tesla supercharger station also serving food seems a bit weird, a combination you might not have dreamt up yourself. However, when you really look at it, it's a brilliant idea. Think of gas stations and how many people wander inside the station to pick up a candy bar, soda, or snack. The simple truth is that customers are held captive at stations when they are refueling their cars. The same is true for Tesla customers when they visit the supercharger location. They're not going anywhere for a short while. If Tesla was able to provide their customers with some food, entertainment, and a way to make a few extra bucks, it would definitely be a win-win for everyone. Superchargers acting as restaurants makes even more sense when you think of how long it takes to fully charge a Tesla. There's a good chance that drivers will have to wait around anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour to get their car completely charged. As of right now, they spend this time scrolling their phone or stretching their legs. Why not give them the ability to refuel their stomachs as well as refueling their cars? But how would Tesla jump into the restaurant industry? The company's done fantastically in the world of electric cars, but creating and serving food is a whole different animal, and complicated in its own specific way. It isn't easy to run a single restaurant, let alone dozens and dozens of supercharger locations all over the country and world. That is why many people believe Musk may have an ace up his sleeve, a partnership. Many have assumed that if this Tesla restaurant food chain is formally created, it won't necessarily be run by the company itself. If Elon Musk were to partner with an established chain, That would avoid a lot of the headaches that creating a brand new business would create. Perhaps Musk would be able to cut a deal with Burger King, Taco Bell, or another fast food chain. He could then even fulfill his promise of an old-fashioned drive-up restaurant by partnering with Sonic. Or maybe Tesla could even draft a deal with a chain that is less fast food and more formal. The bottom line is that if Musk decided to create a partnership with a restaurant chain to get his dreams off the ground floor, there will be many businesses willing to hear him out. At the same time, it's very possible that Musk and his team want to go at it alone. And if Tesla really did decide to do it by itself, with its own chain of eateries, it wouldn't be the first time Musk's company set off to try something that others said couldn't be done. Time and time again, Musk has proven that he can quickly master an entire industry, even when others say he can't. Could the same be true here? Could we be looking back on this idea with a smile in the next few years as we eat a hearty Tesla burger and drink a Tesla milkshake? Well, it's not as easy as that. Tesla and Musk might be concocting big plans for their restaurants, but that doesn't mean it will all go ahead without a hitch. Elon Musk has conquered the world of automobile manufacturing and even space travel, but he has never faced a foe as powerful as a local permit office. Starting a new business isn't easy, especially when it serves food. Southern California is well known for its strict policies and rules that need to be followed in order to run a restaurant. Getting the right permits filed and passed takes a long time, even longer in an area like LA. That means that any supercharger restaurant might be a few years off before it's finished. How would a Tesla restaurant even function or look? We know that Musk obviously has an affinity for the old-fashioned diners of years past, so that is definitely what the restaurant would look and feel like. That would be a welcome throwback that could bring in a lot of business and expose a countless number of people to a tradition that has long been forgotten in recent years. While a Tesla restaurant would certainly appear like something from your grandparents' generation, it certainly wouldn't be run that way. You can bet that any restaurant Tesla gets involved with would only have the latest and greatest in terms of technology. Imagine a restaurant of the future that looks like something from the past. Would the company create brand new equipment specifically for the food industry? Would it completely transform all restaurants just like it did with automobiles and space travel? That wouldn't be surprising in the slightest. There's a good chance that Musk has already got his eyes set on ways to enhance and evolve the way restaurants work. Cars have never been the same since Tesla got involved, and the same could be true for restaurants too. There is still a long road ahead for any restaurants at Tesla's supercharger stations, but the company has obviously been planning, and it's planning to move forward and establish something in the future. Elon Musk has given us a peek behind the curtain, and that's revealed the sort of restaurants he wants to create. But it remains to be seen how much of that will be converted into a reality. No matter what a Tesla restaurant looks like or when the doors finally open, there is no doubt that it will be something special. Even the most negative naysayers of the company have long ago learned to never underestimate Musk and his business. When Tesla puts its mind on something, it gets it done. If Musk is adamant about creating a series of restaurants at his supercharger stations, he will likely make that dream a reality. And when that does happen, there is a good chance he will create something truly delicious. Tesla has just changed the game when it comes to electric cars, and it's done it in so many ways. They've really revolutionized the industry and the entire concept of electric vehicles. When people talk about how cool electric cars are, they're doing this because of Tesla. There really is no other company like Elon Musk's prized creation. The name Tesla is synonymous, not only with a brilliant business, but a brilliant business that makes incredible products. While you've probably seen quite a few Teslas on the road, cruising around and making everyone jealous, you have never seen a Tesla on a racetrack, have you? That is usually reserved for the bulky, loud, gas-guzzling creations that you see in like NASCAR tracks and stuff like that. But guess what? Tesla just created a one-of-a-kind race car, and it has set the racing world abuzz with talk and hype and speculation about what this means for the future of the company. In fact, the Tesla race car doesn't just impress people, well, it's blown them away. How and why did Tesla get into the racing game, and just how amazingly did they perform? You're going to be shocked to hear how they pulled it off and how much they impressed the other racers. They've already altered the world of business, cars, and sustainable energy, but does Tesla have its eyes on the world of racing next? June 2021. A Tesla Plaid Model S made its presence known in the racing community when it took to the track and left all the competition in the dust. The vehicle revved up its engines for the first time at the annual racing event called Pikes Peak. Located in the snowy mountains of beautiful Colorado, this is a world-renowned racing institution, and the news of a Tesla in a competition brought in more attention than usual. All eyes were on the Tesla car to see just how impressive it could be. Everyone knows Tesla makes a wonderful car, but did they make a car that can go tie to tie with some of the speediest racers in the world? The announcer was a resounding and loud yes. All critics were silenced as the Tesla blazed through the lengthy track, which features 156 turns and over 12 miles of difficult slim road. The exhibition class was packed with some of the most talented and storied racers from all over the globe, all focused on being the first one to cross the finish line. In the end, the winner was the Tesla Plaid Model S. The car cruised to a hearty victory with a time of 6 minutes and 57 seconds. The man at the wheel, Randy Probst, was downright gleeful as he crossed the end of the race. In fact, he had nothing but great things to say about the car, remarking that the brakes were good, suspension was fantastic, and the car gave him loads of power. Compared to the other cars he's handled in his career, this one was one of his favorites, and it truly blew his hair back. Probst and his Tesla took first prize, and the crowd in the racing world went wild. Of course, the brains behind the car itself are the hard workers at Tesla, but the race and the victory wouldn't have been possible without the geniuses at Unplugged Performance. This car company put in the energy and the effort and time to create a Tesla race car unlike anything else that's ever been seen before. It was a long road to get there, but Unplugged Performance never stopped believing. They had their sights set on victory like this for years and always wanted to get to there with no company other than Tesla. Their creation is definitely an electric Tesla, but it's unlike any other Tesla that's graced the roads. It all started with a regular top-of-the-line Tesla Model S. From there, Unplugged Performance got to work and turned this thing into a full-engine beast. First, they gutted the interior of the car, taking out everything from the airbags to the center console. They even pulled off the door panels. Then, they inserted some racing essentials, such as a roll cage and, of course, a premium racing seat with a 6-point racing belt. The driver's gotta be comfortable after all. Even before Unplugged got their hands on it, the S Plaid was capable of great things. The car boasts a peak power of 1,020 horsepower and was capable of achieving speeds as high as 321 kilometers an hour. And how quickly does it go from 0 to 60? In the span of 1.99 seconds. And people said that electric cars couldn't be fast. While the car is definitely a souped-up Tesla, surprisingly, much of the ride is still the same as it was when it came off the assembly line at the Tesla plant. The body of the car is actually the exact same, save for a massive front splitter and an adjustable wing in the rear. Yep, much of this creation is all Tesla's doing. The Tesla Model S Plaid was already known for its record-breaking and jaw-dropping braking abilities, which made it a perfect candidate to be taken up a notch and officially morphed into a racing car. It already had the heart of a race car. Unplugged Performance just brought it out. This isn't the first time that Unplugged Performance has toyed around with the Tesla in the hopes of helping it achieve its high-speed potential. In 2020, the company fine-tuned the Tesla Model 3 and brought it to Pikes Peak as well. But in 2021, they had a heavy emphasis on the power of the vehicle. In fact, the car they brought this year was 4 times more powerful than the one they had raced last year. That's mostly thanks to Tesla, said Unplugged Performance founder Ben Schaefer, because the battery pack and cooling systems installed in the car are much more impressive, even though it's only been 1 year. Schaefer and his company have had their eyes on Tesla for a long time now, and their relationship with Elon Musk's business goes back a few years. In 2013, Unplugged started working in a building that happened to be located just next door to Tesla's Hawthorne design studio. It was there that Schaefer began chatting with Tesla about all the things his racing company could do with the prized electric vehicles. What is it about Tesla and the Model S Plaid that drew Schaefer and Unplugged's Performance in so quickly? It wasn't just a chance to work with Tesla, the most loved and popular car company on Earth. No, it was the fact that Tesla builds incredible machines that are so much more than just what people assume. They aren't just fancy-looking rides, but they can also attain great speeds and have incredible power under the hood. And the Model S Plaid, even when it isn't blowing through the winding racetracks of Colorado, well, it's something incredible indeed. Tesla knows that they have something special with this model. Not only can it travel 390 miles on a single charge, it also comes with a state-of-the-art interior with a 17-inch cinematic display up front. HEPA filtration, and ample legroom for up to 5 riders. But that's not all. The Model S Plaid also supplies riders with a gaming system and a wireless controller, so you can play it from any seat. Plus, it's got Bluetooth, USB-C charging, and a 22-speaker audio system to blast your favorite hits. Even before Unplugged Performance got their hand on the Model S Plaid, Tesla had a real prize on their hands. But be forewarned, in case you were thinking of ordering one for yourself, there is an extensive waiting list for customers waiting to pick up their own Model S Plaids. And once you get through that lengthy list, you'd have to part with the cool $186,000 to put this car in your garage. The power of the Model S Plaid is undeniable, and it goes to show that Musk was right when he said that sustainable energy cars can be the most kick-ass cars in every way. But what does the success of Unplugged at Pikes Peak mean for the future of racing with electric cars? Well, the future is definitely bright now. Unplugged Performance surely isn't done souping up Teslas, and they won't be alone. It remains to be seen if Musk and his company sign any other racing partnerships, but it's likely that they will stay loyal with Unplugged alone. But there are plenty of other car companies in the world, and nearly all of them are producing their own lines of electric vehicles. That means that other racing outfits are probably thinking of how they can go toe-to-toe with Unplugged and their super fast Teslas. As Elon Musk has said time and time again, clean energy will win. The racing history of the Tesla Model S Plaid is proof that he is right. These cars are far more than benefits to the environment. They can also be fast, powerful, high-performance vehicles that can beat even the most experienced hot rods on the road. There's no doubt that a Tesla crossing the finish line first wasn't a fluke. It also wasn't the last time it's going to happen. Tesla really is leading the pack, in more ways than one. Back in 2019, US President Donald Trump stunned many when he announced a new arm of the American Armed Forces called the Space Force. The name alone caused many to chuckle or scratch their heads. From its flag, to its purpose, to its name, people made light of the Space Force. But why was that? What would it do? Was it really going to retain such a silly sci-fi sounding name? Was the government really creating a new part of the military for the first time since the 1940s? And was it really called the Space Force? While many Americans considered it something as a joke in the beginning, the United States Space Force is most definitely very real, and it's growing. Not only is it a legitimate arm of the vast American uniformed services, but it's also a sister branch to the very successful and very well-respected US Air Force. The Space Force even has its own secretary, who reports directly to the United States Secretary of Defense. To date, the Space Force now has nearly 5,000 employees and 77 spacecrafts. None of these ships have taken to the stars yet, but it looks like things are coming together in a way that critics could have never imagined. Sure enough, the plot and path ahead for the Space Force is coming into focus. While it might not be what some had hoped for, something straight out of Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica, the Space Force itself is forging out a very important and substantial place in the American military. The general premise behind the Space Force is a branch of the military that's responsible for training and equipping space forces to keep the country safe and to enhance and improve transportation and commerce. That might not be as flashy as what some people envisioned, but it sounds like a practical way for the United States to spend some of their massive military budget. As the Space Force comes to life more and more, it's being influenced by others in the modern-day space race. In fact, it looks like those running Space Force are taking notes from none other than Elon Musk and his widely successful company, SpaceX. Some of the goals and ideas that Space Force is creating seem straight out of the SpaceX playbook. It's as if they're following in the footsteps laid before them by that cutting-edge company. And why not? SpaceX has truly forged its own path in space travel and exploration. They've created a privately funded behemoth that has transformed concepts from simple ideas into fully functionally realized plans that have resulted in some of the most revolutionary and impressive feats of modern science. So, if you are going to attempt to do something as complex and infinitely challenging as space travel, why not learn from the best? In fact, the United States government has actually been working quite closely with SpaceX over the last few years. Their relationship has become beneficial to both sides, and there's a chance that the American Armed Forces have kept a close eye on how SpaceX works for their own future plans. Just recently, the Pentagon signed 2 hefty contracts with SpaceX, valued at over $159 million. The contract allows SpaceX's Falcon 9 rockets to launch 2 missions on the Pentagon's behalf in the near future. For SpaceX, this is a crown jewel and an accomplishment to be very incredibly proud of. Doing business with the American government makes a lot of sense, especially because it pays so well. Getting cozy with the United States military is a great way to create a strong, long-lasting relationship that can add a lot of money to the books. The recent signing of these new contracts wasn't the first time that Elon Musk's company has made a deal with the American military. It was actually the 3rd time that something like this has happened. In October of 2020, the company agreed to a $149 million contract with the Department of Defense to make missile tracking satellites. This was SpaceX's first government contract to build satellites and a massive win for the company. In July of that year, they also came up with a deal to launch rockets for the US Space Force. It's no wonder that Space Force is seemingly cribbing ideas from SpaceX after working so closely with them. There's no doubt that after creating such important deals with Elon Musk and his prized businesses, the American military has seen a few things that they'd like to try out for themselves. In fact, it was recently announced that the Space Force is going to attempt to do something that Musk and his team have been talking about for a very long time: point-to-point space travel. What is point-to-point? It is perhaps one of the most important things that SpaceX's vehicles are capable of, and something that Musk himself sees great potential in. Is it as exciting as, say, landing on Mars? No, not really, but it comes up with a practical and modern solution for one of the oldest problems in the world: getting cargo to a location in a short amount of time. With point-to-point travel, a rocket would launch into space, travel around the globe, and then land back on the ground in a different location. That would then make traveling around the planet in just under an hour possible, and would radically change how the government or businesses are able to send items. A trip from Australia to the United States in less than 60 minutes? That is almost as incredible as landing on the moon. It's so incredible that the American military is willing to give this a try. They recently announced a $48 million contract that would eventually allow shipments of heavy cargo to points all over the world, all done by specially made rockets. The rocket cargo program is a creation of both the US Space Force and the US Air Force, and has been signed off on by the Biden administration in the hopes of getting it off the ground, literally within the next few years. One of the main ideas behind the military's point-to-point concept is that it will use commercial rockets to transport their goods. That means that SpaceX could soon be in business with the government again, this time shipping their cargo into space and then back down safely on another part of the planet. This will work out well for SpaceX and Elon Musk, who can make millions off of practicing what they are perfecting. An idea being stolen doesn't sting as much when you're being rewarded handsomely for it. While the Space Force still says that the ideas behind point-to-point travel have existed since the dawn of spaceflight, there is no denying that it only became feasible when SpaceX started to test their rockets for this very thing. In fact, the government has admitted that major emergence on the commercial side of spaceflight has radically altered the government's belief in point-to-point travel. The lower cost, the faster speeds, the lack of pressure put solely on federally made rockets have made an environment that is much more accepting and interested in point-to-point shipping and travel. However, while the Space Force wants to rely on commercial ships to transport their cargo, there is a chance that SpaceX might not be the ones benefiting from it. As of right now, there are no planned demonstrations of contracts in the works, but the American military says that any deals are a few years down the road. When that time comes, the Space Force will weigh their opinions and decide which commercial enterprise they want to buddy up with. Is it going to be SpaceX, or will it be a completely different company with a better, more attractive price point? That is a legitimate concern for SpaceX, because the field of space travel companies is only growing. With Blue Origin, Relativity Space, Virgin Galactic, and many more making themselves known as SpaceX's biggest competition, the American government will soon have many different options. Imagine a few years from now, when even more business people and companies jump into the space race. At that time, SpaceX will have an even harder time standing out in that ever-expanding field. It is true that no one does it like SpaceX. It is also true that they are the most reliable and proven name in the game. However, Space Force isn't going to pick their partners based solely on that. They will look at the bottom line, the budget. Everything will be based upon how much money is going to be spent. Can SpaceX make the most appetizing deal? It is no secret that the American Space Force wants to be like SpaceX, and you can't really blame them. Again and again, Elon Musk's incredible company has aimed for the stars and succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. Space Force would be stupid to not attempt to be like them. However, while SpaceX will always be the first to achieve some of these major feats, there may come a time in the near future when Space Force and other agencies are doing things on their own, or with other companies. If that day does come, SpaceX can take solace in knowing that they were the trailblazers who set the bar high and did it first. They will also groan as they see other companies and government agencies taking what they perfected and making it their own.